Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
Christians from across the world celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ today with a celebration of Christmas. Well, we take this opportunity to wish all our viewers a Merry, Merry Christmas. Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News. I am Shine Dharampati. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines. Ban imposed on Sri Lankan tea by Russia lifted. Pope Francis pleads for migrants at Christmas Eve Mass. President says Christmas is an opportunity to put aside all differences and build a brighter future. JVP leader comments on the profits earned by Perpetual Treasuries Limited. Fixed prices for 7 essential food items. Well, just as it is around the world, Christmas is in full swing here in Sri Lanka as well. We now cross over to Echelon Square where Newsfirst Azra Asan is standing by enjoying the festivities. Azra?
Well, thank you, Shaheen. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst Christmas Center here in Echelon Square, Colombo. As you can see, we have a large number of people gathered here today to celebrate this special day. Now, as Christians around the world celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, the Pope has depicted suffering reflected in the faces of little children, with war and other tensions in places including Middle East, North Korea and Africa.
Tens of thousands of worshippers gathered at the Vatican to hear the Pontiff's 5th Ubi et Obi message today. Vatican City is a country located within the city of Rome. With an area of approximately 44 hectares and a population of 1,000, it is the smallest state in the world by both area and population. The independent city-state, on the other hand, came into existence in 1929 by the Lateran Treaty between the Holy See and Italy. Pope Francis called for peace in Jerusalem in his traditional Christmas address and highlighted the plight of children scarred by conflict after urging the world's 1.3 billion Catholics not to ignore migrants. Pope Francis told the faithful that the winds of war are blowing in the world and an outdated model of development continues to produce human, societal and environmental decline. The Pontiff said children in the Middle East continue to suffer because of growing tension between Israelis and Palestinians, while Syria remains marked by war and ongoing conflict in Yemen has been largely forgotten. Pope Francis strongly defended immigrants in his Christmas Eve Mass on Sunday, comparing them to Mary and Joseph, finding no place to stay in Bethlehem and saying, faith demands that foreigners be embraced. Francis, celebrating his 5th Christmas as leader of the world's 1.3 billion Roman Catholics, led a solemn mass for about 10,000 people in St. Peter's Basilica, while many others followed the service from the square outside. Wearing white vestments in the flower-bedecked church, Francis called for a new social imagination in which none have to feel that there is no room for them on this earth.
Sri Lankans celebrated the dawn of Christmas Day by embracing the spirit of Christmas. The Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, emphasized the true meaning of Christmas is to live a life where one shows respect to God, neighbor and the environment.
The main midnight mass for the dawn of Christmas took place last night at St. Peter and St. Paul's Church in Ragama. Holy Mass was presided over by His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. Many devotees who gathered at St. Peter and St. Paul's Church obtained blessings as well.
Who am I? Why did God create me? What is God's plan for me? We must work towards fulfilling that plan and decide on the steps we must take on the correct path with respect for God, neighbor and the environment. This is the meaning of Christmas. Christmas does not mean cutting down trees, polluting the environment, bringing various unnecessary things into the home and then throwing it into the garbage. Christmas is a time for living with understanding.
Christmas is a time where we please God by mending relationships. We need to live as one people, one family, or one nation. We cannot remain separated because that is not the will of our Heavenly Father. God bless you all, and I wish you all a happy and a blessed Christmas.
Meanwhile, the midnight mass held at the Basilica of Our Lady of Lanka in Thevataragama was broadcast live on Sirasa TV, Shakti TV and TV1. Former Archbishop of Colombo, Most Reverend Dr. Oswald Gomez, presided over the mass. Midnight mass was observed at churches across the country.
Give me that experience and I'm ready to see.
President Maithripala Sirisena, issuing his Christmas message, says that as the human race faces unprecedented challenges, the Christian belief undoubtedly proves to be a guiding star for us to find the enduring solutions.
In his Christmas Day message, the President said, "It is when one starts to love oneself and then spread that love and kindness towards others that humanity will ultimately pave the way for lasting peace and reconciliation." He added, "May the silver bells of such sincere beliefs be heard all over the world this Christmas." In his Christmas Day message, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said, "Today we live in a society that seeks freedom from tyranny and injustice, stigma and prejudice. One in which people will be free from religious and ethnic strife, able to live together in harmony and a spirit of tolerance." He added, "The spirit of Christmas is shared universally and is a time to spread the goodwill, love and joy the birth of Christ brings." Opposition leader R. Sambandhan, in his message to mark Christmas, said, 2000 years ago, the birth of Jesus Christ brought hope and peace to the people, adding, "The events of Christmas remind us of the humility, sacrifice, love and care that Jesus Christ demonstrated." Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says, "Christmas is a moment that marks new hopes and reconciliation." He also prays that all Christian devotees receive the opportunity to comprehend Jesus Christ's messages and engage in religious observances. National Unity Alliance leader Azad Saleh also issued a Christmas Day message, praying that Christians in Sri Lanka will be able to fulfill their new hopes in life as they mark Christmas Day, which gives true meaning to life, unity and reconciliation.
We're coming to you live from the Newsfirst Christmas Center here in HLN Square, Colombo. Now in more news, the Fantasy Carnival 2017, organized by Newsfirst, gave an opportunity for children to celebrate Christmas.
The Fantasy Carnival 2017 was held throughout the day today at Theatre Arena in Battaramulla. The carnival was opened with the participation of members of the Board of Directors of the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited. A number of exhibitions and stalls had been put up to entertain children at the Fantasy Carnival. A major attraction was the police dog show. Children were also able to participate in dance shows, carols, screen tests, games and more.
Christians across the world marked the birth of Jesus Christ with prayers held across many landmarks.
The Apostolic Administrator of the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem attended the Church of the Nativity to lead Midnight Mass. He is Pope Francis's representative in the Holy Land and urged leaders present to have courage in deciding the future. Christians across India immersed in the festive spirit as they sang carols in churches that have been decked up for the Midnight Mass for Christmas celebrations. Hundreds of Christians in Pakistan's port city of Karachi attended Midnight Mass on Christmas Eve amid tight security. Hundreds of Catholic followers attended a Christmas Eve Mass in Beijing amid reported restrictions. Hundreds of Santa Clauses flooded the center of Minsk on bringing the spirit of New Year into Belarus. Catholic Christians attended Mass at St. Joseph's Roman Catholic Church in Cairo to mark Christmas and pray for all those killed in attacks in 2017.
502 inmates serving prison sentences were released today. 12 female inmates were among those released.
Inmates from 29 prisons in the country were released in lieu of Christmas Day. 40 inmates were released from the Valikada prison. The inmates who were released today were those convicted for minor offences and unable to pay the fines, elderly inmates above the age of 70 and those who have served sentences for more than 10 years. Also on Christmas Day, visitor hours for inmates were extended today, so a large number of relatives of inmates had arrived to visit them with food items.
We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst Christmas Center here in Excellence Square, Colombo. As you can see, we have a large number of people gathered here today to celebrate this special day. We will be here until the 29th of this month, so we invite all of you to come join us and celebrate this festive season. Well, that's all from the Newsfirst Christmas Center here in Excellence Square, Colombo. Shaheen, back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Azra. Welcome back to the news. Making headlines this evening, the temporary ban imposed by the Russian government on Sri Lankan tea has been lifted. J.A. Ranjit, the Secretary to the Ministry of Plantation Industries, said the ban will be lifted from the 31st of December.
A Sri Lankan delegation held discussions with the Russian government today in Moscow on lifting the ban. The Sri Lanka team of 9 members comprised of personnel from the Ministry of Plantation Industries and the Sri Lanka Tea Board. They left for Russia last evening. On the 18th of December, Russia decided to suspend importing Sri Lanka tea after an insect known as the Capra beetle was found inside the packaging of one consignment of tea from Sri Lanka. The discussions were based on the temporary ban imposed by the Russian Federation on Sri Lanka tea. A delegation met with their counterparts in Russia. As a result, the ban will be completely lifted after the 30th of December.
Ramas Chanturia, the Director General of the Russian Association of Tea and Coffee Producers, and was a part of the discussions, speaking exclusively to News First, elaborated on the discussions that took place.
We have now the situation where the tea trade will continue, almost in condition, but maybe on the more under more control from Russian government. What we already agreed that the tea trade will be without any problem. The Sri Lankan side explained to Russian side what they will do from their side, how they can guarantee that the issues like Capra battle will never happen again. And the Russian side trust that the obligation which Sri Lankan side will take on their side will be really effective. It was a technical, of course, many technical issues, which is now preparing, the Russian side is preparing some technical. They will negotiate that the Russian, the delegation from the Rostov-on-Don will going very quickly to Sri Lanka to see what is done already, how the Sri Lankan side and just how they guarantee that this problem will never happen. All containers which is coming to Russia will be under strict control, but they will allow to import this tea from Sri Lanka to Russia.
Addressing a public rally in Pilimatalawa today, JVP leader MP Anurukumara Disanayake offered an interesting analogy.
Who signs currency notes of Sri Lanka? It's the central bank governor and finance minister. The currency notes today bear the signatures of Arjuna Mahendran and Ravi Karunanaike. Both the minister and governor are rogues. Technically, the currency note should be a fraudulent note since it was signed by two rogues. The person who was in Singapore was brought to the country and placed on the main chair of the central bank where the plan was initiated. On the 27th of February, not even 50 days later, the central bank transactions happened. What happened? His son-in-law was given bonds at much higher interest rate than usual. His son-in-law sold them at a higher profit. From March 2015 to March 2016, Arjun Aloysius' company had shown a profit of 5.3 billion. When you say 5.3 billion, do you even feel it? Let me break it down. A lakh has 100,000 rupee notes. 10 million has 10,000 1,000 rupee notes. So when you put 500 1,000 rupee notes into a bundle, it looks as big as a brick. So 20 of these brick-sized bundles would add up to 10 million. So 5.3 billion rupees contains 10,600 of these bricks. That's about 2 kilns full of bricks.
The 2015 and 2016 bond scams, the biggest theft in Sri Lankan history. Who should be held responsible for this grand theft? Who caused millions and millions in losses to the country's state banks? Who stole EPF money, the wealth you earned with your own sweat and blood? Who bowed down to fraud and corruption and allowed this massive theft? The entire nation awaits the final report of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry on the issuance of treasury bonds. The first to expose the bond scam, Newsfirst.
Let's now take a look at some of the views expressed on the political stage.
Gotabaya apparently rebuilt Colombo. 7,000 soldiers were used to dig drains. Now they are saying he will be the next presidential candidate. There will be white vans everywhere in the country. Api Venue Api, they said. He himself has said in public that 4,500 million was collected, but no audit was conducted.
By some means, if they win this election, they will tell the media something like this. No matter how much the JVPers scream in the country, the people have given us power, approving the path we are taking. This means that you have cast your vote endorsing the theft of the central bank and the sale of state-owned land. I ask, what does your conscience say?
All 5 fingers of the same family aren't the same. There are intelligent as well as unintelligent people in the same family. There are bad people as well. We are not saying our government is a complete one, but what is the difference? If someone has been accused of something, those people have stepped out from the cabinet.
Our intention is, rather than talking about one candidate and the other, to talk about the flower bud, the party and its policies, and take the battle against its government forward.
People will vote for the flower bud to protect the thieves. There are 15 court cases. There are more to come as well. It is the people who are in the flower bud who are the accused in these cases. Some politicians have entered politics just for the sake of it and earned 400 to 500 million rupees. There are some who are accused of murder.
Also making headlines this evening, the Cost of Living Committee has decided to impose controlled prices on 7 essential food items during this festive season. The Ministry of Industry and Commerce says these controlled prices will be in effect across all supermarkets as well.
New control prices were introduced for rice, big onions, sugar, potatoes, canned fish, dal and sprats. A maximum retail price of 74 rupees has been imposed on a kilogram of Nadu rice. However, control prices have not been imposed on samba rice and white kakulu rice. The ministry says a control price for these 2 varieties will be introduced in the near future. A kilogram of samba needs to be sold at 71 rupees, a kilogram of big onions for 135 rupees, a kilogram of rice for 100 rupees, a kilogram of potatoes for 139 rupees, and a 425-gram can of tinned fish needs to be sold at 127 rupees. A kilogram of dal needs to be sold at 124 rupees and a control price of 515 rupees for a kilogram of sprats has been introduced. The Cost of Living Committee has informed all Satasu outlets and supermarkets that these prices will be in effect until April next year. In addition, the Consumer Affairs Authority has been instructed to take legal action against all traders who sell these food items above the control price, and complaints can be made against such traders as well.
Still in local news, farmers have expressed their displeasure regarding an irregularity that has occurred in renovating the Marakkulama Vawa in Tirapane, Anuradhapura.
The Marakkulama Vawa provides water for about 40 acres of farmlands in the Tirapane area. The dredging of the Vawa, the renovation of the spill gates and canal, and the construction of 2 jetties were said to be part of this renovation. The cost of the project was estimated to be close to 5 million rupees. The renovation work, which began on the 12th of October, was to be completed on the 31st of this month. However, the people of the area aren't satisfied with the progress that has been made. They brought 2 JCBs, cut 2 new drains and installed the same old spill gate. There is no spill basin. Once the water flows outwards, it flows back this way. 3 days have passed and the concrete has already gone bad and it has begun to crack. Some of the concrete used in the construction has been mixed with sand. The people claim that the only reason that contractors are able to use public money as they please in this manner is because the officials responsible are not doing their job properly. There is no technical officer to overlook work. They do as they please.
Workers on safari boats on the Madhu River in Gaul staged a floating demonstration today.
Workers who operate the boats claim that while tourists are charged 2,000 rupees per trip, the workers are only paid 200 rupees. About 100 workers staged a demonstration in Alatota on the Madhu River, demanding that their payment per trip be increased to 500 rupees. We spend about 2 hours on the Madhu River on each trip. The heads of the company only pay 200 rupees per trip to the boat operator. The guides get about 25,000 to 30,000 rupees when they bring tourists to the boats. The boat owners take 2,000 rupees and the guides pocket about 25,000 rupees. We are left with 200 rupees. We have been receiving 200 rupees per trip for 10 years now. We come here at 8 in the morning and work until 6 in the evening. Sometimes we don't even get water. We ask that this be resolved in a way by which the boat owner receives 2,500 rupees and 500 rupees is paid to the worker. This is an enterprise which potentially could have an income of 100 million rupees a year. There are no licenses, there is no insurance, there is nothing. When they say go, we must leave home and go. Our correspondent noted that the HQI of police in Ambalangoda arrived at the scene shortly after the protest commenced. The protesters dispersed after the HQI promised to facilitate talks between the workers and boat owners.
It's now time for tonight's illustrated news by cartoonist Asanka Ladwahetti. Borlasgamu Ballarat Sports Club won the day and night volleyball championship organised by the Piliyandala Hadigama Lions Club. The lads from Borlasgamu defeated the Sri Lanka Army Light Infantry Regiment 3 rounds to 0. 8 teams took part in this championship. And that is a wrap of Primetime News today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Shahan Jarampart, wishing you once again a Merry Christmas. Good night and take care.